Good evening and welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include Fire at the Foodland, Lions and Lioness Awards Night, St. John's Central High School Report. These stories plus community events, the BBS Playbill, Off the Rack and more coming up after this.
Many Canadians are wondering if they will be personally affected by the Y2K problem. For this reason, the Government of Canada has made it a top priority to ensure that pensioners and people who are temporarily out of work continue to receive their income benefits. At Human Resources Development Canada, we upgraded our payment systems well ahead of time and prepared emergency plans to ensure that there will be no interruption in service should unexpected problems arise. Our payment systems are ready.
On Monday of this week, our town suffered a tremendous loss. At approximately 11 a.m., the fire department was called to the scene of a fire at our local Foodland. When we arrived, there were towers of smoke coming from the far end of the building. We were informed that all the staff and customers had gotten out safe and sound. Later in the day, the Burgess Fire Department received help from Ramia and Stephenville Fire Departments. There was also plenty of other volunteers from the community. The RCMP news release states that the damage is estimated to be in the range of $1 to $1.5 million. The cause of the fire has been attributed to electrical short in the basement. Our town was in a state of shock and disbelief over this terrible loss, but none greater than the owners, operators, and staff that worked at the business. On Saturday, November 27th, we were invited to the Lions and Lioness Awards Night. King Lion Jim Marsden, MC for the evening, got things underway with the singing of O Canada, Lions Invocation, moment of silence for the deceased Lions and Lioness members, and Toast to the Queen. Lioness President Alice Kosser toasted the President of the United States. Lioness Liaison Stan Kosser toasted the ladies, and the Lions repeated their toasts. Lion Stan Kosser said grace before the meal. Mayor Ann brought greetings from the town. Then it was on to the year-in report and awards. Past King Lion Brad Dunford presented the year-in report and certificate to Ron Green, Guy Ann, Gord Ingram, Hector Pollard, and Oliver Ingram. Then it was time to present Lion of the Year Award.
That's the Lion of the Year Award. There are a few lions who I consider to be the Lion of the Year, but as you all know, I can only pick one. Everyone in some way or another does their part in this club. That is why this is a difficult thing for me to do, to pick one individual. There is an individual in this club that I thought went out of his way sometimes to do things for this club. Anytime that I would call him and ask him to do anything, he was always eager and willing to do anything to get it done. He was the chairman of 3 of my committees. He stepped in as tail twister when the club needed one. He was the chairman of my summer fair, bingo, and entertainment committee. So without further ado, I would like to call on Lion Oliver Ingram to accept the Lion of the Year Award.
Past Lioness President Judy Fudge read the year-in report for the year and presented awards to Lioness Liaison Jim Marsden, Directors Doreen Pollard and Barb Porter, Third Vice Ruth Tucker, Second Vice Edith Marsden, First Vice Alice Kosser, Lioness Tail Twister Patricia Sims, Lioness Tamer Sylvia Kosser, and Secretary Diane Kendall. 10-year pins were presented to Marlene Vatcher and Audrey Donovan. Grace Abbott received her 15-year pin and Sylvia Kosser 20-year pin. 100% attendance awards were also presented. Lion Ivan Ingram presented dart awards to the first place winners, dart champs, most tons, and for the 180 shots. Lion Max Pink presented awards to the judges and questionnaires for the speak-off. Marjorie Ann and past President Judy Fudge unveiled the Lioness Vis of the late Louise Moulton. King Lion Jim Marsden returned thanks, and the dinner concluded with the singing of Ode to Newfoundland. Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
It takes community to heal a village. In northern Mali, USC Canada works with local partners to find community-based ways to ensure mother-child health, food security, and jobs. Canadian agencies are helping to renew and strengthen communities throughout the developing world. This means greater opportunities for global villagers. Canadians in partnership, finding solutions that work.
We spoke to Mr. Scott Lenahan, principal of the St. John Centre High School, on Wednesday of this week for a school report. Good morning, Mr. Lenahan.
Good morning, Ms. Rose.
Thanks for speaking with us today.
You're welcome.
We just came to get a report on how things are going at your school. First of all, we'd like to know how the students did on their first report.
Overall, I'm generally very pleased with the report. The overall school average was 73% for the entire school, which breaks down to grade 7s, an average of 77. The grade 8s had a class average of 73. The grade 9s had a class average of 80. The grade 10s had a class average of 79, which is very good for high school. Grade 11 was 75. Mr. Benoit's class was 62. And the high school was an average of 65 for an overall school average of 73. I'm a little concerned about some of our lower averages, especially our graduating class. I'm certainly hoping that more effort is going to put into their studies in the second term. 65 of our students are certainly very capable of doing much more work. In speaking with parents who came in, there was a great showing of parents, a high turnout. I believe over 100 parents came in 2 days on November 15th and 16th, especially after a long weekend. We certainly appreciate everyone coming in. I managed to speak with most parents, and they spoke with the teachers, and everyone seems very pleased with the grades. But again, 73 average for the whole school, which is it's a high B, and it's very impressive. But I think we have some concern that the kids are certainly capable of much better, and with initiatives such as Tutors for Tuition and Homework Haven and these kind of programs, I'm hoping that the students will raise those averages, especially in our high school. Our kids are leaving in June to other programs and universities and colleges, so I hope 65 can be raised to 70 or more. And we're going to work very hard to make sure that they turn around the average and raise it somewhat. As well, the attendance is very, very good in our school. Some kids have a problem with coming in late, and I would certainly impress upon the parents to speak with their children and to try to be here at 8:40 for school and to not miss class. Perhaps that's one of the reasons why some of the students are probably not doing to their full capability, because they're missing a few classes here and there. And if they were to attend more classes, then their average, of course, would certainly go up accordingly. So I'd ask parents to certainly impress upon their students and their kids to come to school at time and to make every effort at home with their studies. Overall, I must say on behalf of the teachers and the students, I'm very pleased, and I hope that the progress continues after Christmas.
Very good. What are some of the extracurricular activities now that are going on at your school?
Well, there's so much extracurriculars, can't even keep on top of it all. The students are doing very well with all the sports activities. They were just recently out for volleyball. They didn't win in the regional tournaments, but they did do a good showing. And from talking with other coaches and schools, they certainly set the standard with their enthusiasm and their level of sportsmanship. They set the standard for what I consider to be the entire province, and they're to be commended for their amount of enthusiasm and for showing Virgil well in our area in such sportsmanlike activities in volleyball, as well in softball. As you know, our female girls went on to the regionals and the provincials in Lamoline, and they didn't win, but they certainly did well, and from all accounts had a great time, and I'm very pleased with that. Cross country, our students did very well. We finished third overall in cross country. If we had finished first or second, we could have went on to the provincials, but perhaps there's always next year. The drama club has started. We're hoping by Christmas to have our play picked and our casting done. So we're hoping by after Christmas then we'll be able to pursue full tilt with major production for after Christmas. There's a basketball team as well as started, a floor hockey team has started, and competition with other schools and areas will hopefully begin after Christmas. And the teams have been picked, and we'll look forward to them traveling out for competitions after Christmas. Many extracurriculars, can't possibly name them all, but everything continues as per usual, and everything is met with great success.
Now, your funding for traveling has always been a problem. Are you finding it so again this year?
Yeah, funding is always an issue. It's so expensive to send the students anywhere, be that Stephenville or across the island, so it's always a big burden on the school budget. And of course we have to pay for such things as paper and photocopy and resources for the students. So it's always a big expense. However, we're going to try some new fundraising. We had one bingo, and I want on behalf of the students and teachers to thank everyone who was involved with the bingo. We raised over $1,000, I believe $1,400 to go towards student travel. That's a big expense incurred by the school, and we need that money so that students can participate on all levels, be that math competitions, sports events, drama clubs. All the teachers and the staff, I want to thank everyone for helping out with the bingo. It's because of you that students will be able to travel, and it's because of you the extracurriculars will continue on. That way our students can participate on all levels of activities, be that sports or curriculum or other areas. The bingo, we're hoping to have another one again after Christmas, perhaps in March sometime, to further our travel for the students. As well, we're hoping to have a beer bottle drive in the near future, perhaps in the next couple of weeks. And that again will be a school council initiative, and that money will be used again for possibly student travel. And we'll keep appraised for the public on the VBS, on Channel 10, of any fundraising, what we'll be doing and what the money will be used for. Because it's without additional funds from the community, then certain activities would have to be canceled out. And I certainly hope that does never happen. With continued public support, I don't foresee any problems, and I thank everyone for helping out the school.
Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Yeah, certainly. A few things that I think the community should be aware of. We're working on a school growth model, and there's 3 agencies involved with that. First of all, the school council are very concerned over student pride in our building and in our area. So we've kind of addressed taking ownership of the building. For example, littering and garbage around the building has been a concern that's been identified by our school council. So we've made initiatives with the school board to, and I spoke with Mr. Han as well, about placing garbage containers out around the school. So for all those people and kids who hang out around the school in the evenings, I'd ask that you use the garbage cans placed around the building, and place your garbage in that, and it'll be taken up and thrown away in the proper means, because the garbage is being blown away from around the school onto people's properties, and it's becoming a very troubling issue for some people. So I'm hoping that with this initiative by the school council, that people will start throwing their garbage in the receptacles that's provided. As well, the student council are involved with trying to develop student pride and leadership in the school. So we had trouble getting student council started this year, but with a recent meeting in Bishop's Falls, I took 3 students with me, and we came back and they took it with a vengeance. And they started a student council, and they've had a school dance, and they've had hat day and various initiatives to hope so they can raise money for initiatives that they see as important. So the student council are also very actively involved with educational issues in the school, so I'm very pleased with that. And finally, the staff are working on a school growth model for high expectations for students. We feel that our students are not achieving to their optimum levels, so we believe that with proper encouragement and with the right direction, that they can up their averages, especially our high school students, so that they can to actualize their grades to the best of their ability. So we're hoping that's where we're going to go with that. And finally, under new initiatives, I'd like the community to know that we've started what we believe to be a very important call home system. In the mornings, we'd like to call all the parents and just to say to you that we noticed that your child was not in school this morning. Are you aware of it, and is everything okay? So we call every morning and we just say, listen, so-and-so was not in school, we're aware of it, and if there's anything we need to be aware of that time, then we'd be sensitive to that. So we see it as very very important and has met with some great success, and I've got some positive feedback on it. So we're going to continue with that into the future, and if anyone has any feedback, by all means contact me or the school, and I'll be willing to discuss it. And finally, the school newspaper. We're going to have a monthly publication whereby all updates, and certainly something like we're doing here, all events and activities and fundraising and games, all that kind of thing is going to be in our newspaper. So we encourage parents to read it. They'll be sent to every parent of the high school, and they'll have the opportunity to read all the events, what's going on in school. And by all means, if they want to place things or submissions into the newspaper, send it to me or drop by the school, and I'll be more than willing to place it in our newspaper. So these are some of the new initiatives that we started at school, and we see it as very positive, and I'm very pleased with, so far in my 3 months that I've been here, I'm very pleased with the students, with the staff, and with the community. And I really enjoy my time here, and I think there'll be no reason to believe that it'll be any different after Christmas, and I look forward to it in the future.
Thank you very much for talking with us.
Thank you.
Stay with us for Off the Rack, the community events, and the BBS Playbill, all after this.
Communication is the beginning of understanding, and understanding is the basis for problem solving. USC Canada believes communication should know no borders. A farmer's field in Ethiopia offers innovation for old problems in Nepal. A community seed bank in Bangladesh sparks ideas for one in Mali. All over the developing world, Canadians in global partnership, finding solutions that work.
Off the Rack. This week, as we scanned our tape rack, we came across a Communications for Survival video entitled Say No to Resettlement. Here are some scenes from Burgeo and Ramia. Let's look back to 1996.
When I was a young girl, scarcely 16, thanks to my parents, lots of places I've seen, but never a place that I love as well as my Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill. My Burgeo home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill. The harbor's so pretty in the morning sunshine, as the seabirds and robins their sweet notes in.
Good evening and welcome to the community event segment of tonight's broadcast. I'm Jennifer Marks. The winners of the Burgeo Public Library Bingo were Tanya Dahlman and Dane Hare. Congratulations to you both. The Sand and Sea Festival is still many months away, but the committee is starting their fundraising in preparation for the event. The committee has scheduled TV Bingo for Wednesday, December 8th at 7 p.m. Cards are $1 each or 6 for $5 and are available from any member of the Sand and Sea Committee and are in most stores around town. This may be your chance to win $300 before Christmas. Play TV Bingo and support the Sand and Sea Committee. The Anglican Church Vestry will be holding their annual Christmas fair on Saturday, December 11th at 2 p.m. in the parish hall. There will be a bake and craft sale. They also have planned games for the children. Be sure to mark it on your calendar so you don't miss it. It's the season for the A.J. Matthews Christmas Concert. This annual event will be held on Thursday, December 16th at 7:30 p.m. at the school. Each student is allowed 2 tickets. Tickets will go on sale from December 6th to the 14th. After that date, any remaining tickets will be sold on a first-come basis. No tickets will be saved in advance. If you love chocolate, you'll have to mark this next event on your calendar. The Faith United Church Projects Committee will be sponsoring the Chocolate Plus sale on Saturday, December 18th at 2 p.m. We'll have more details later. If your group or organization has an upcoming event plan, we will be happy to advertise it for you. Just call the BBS office by Wednesday of each week to have items included in this portion of our broadcast. That concludes the community event segment of tonight's broadcast. See you next week.
BBS Playbill. Tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for a rebroadcast of Pansy's Garden. Try your luck on Wednesday by playing Sand and Sea TV Bingo. Following the bingo, we will have a video entitled Really Smashed: Teens, Alcohol, Driving, and the Law. Tune in on Thursday when we'll have a rebroadcast of the Focal Island Accordion Group. Join Pansy and the gang for 2 stories, a craft, and lots of fun on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on Pansy's Garden. And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. Next week's program will be followed by The Bandwagon. Please stay tuned now for entertainment from the Sand and Sea Festival with the Focal Island Accordion Group. For This Week in Review, I'm Marie Rose. Good night.